It's all about just like building your toolkit, right?
Yes.
Finding what works for you. Like you have an emergency first aid kit for when your kids get hurt. It's a similar thing. Thinking about like what's my first aid response kit that I can kind of build for myself and what resources can I put in there to help me on my self-care journey.
Welcome to the Marriage and Motherhood podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Perda. As a marriage coach who's married with 3 kids, I know how much parenthood could change a marriage. If flirting, laughing, and having fun together feels like a thing of the past, then I'm here to teach you that marriage doesn't have to feel so hard with your parents, and your marriage can thrive even when you're in the season of raising kids. Whether you're in a good place in your marriage and you just want to continue growing together, or you're wondering if you even like your spouse anymore, this podcast has something for you. Join me here each week as we dive into what it takes to help your marriage grow, and maybe even do a 180. You'll learn ways to handle conflict better, bring that spark back into your relationship, as well as learn how to improve other areas of your life from my lovely guest experts. Are you ready for the next stage of your life and marriage? Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Marriage and Motherhood podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about something that can't be talked about enough, which is the impact that self-care has on your life, on your experience of motherhood, on your experience of your marriage, and basically like every single facet of your life. And today I'm bringing on Tiffany Lewis to talk about this with, because there's a lot of misconception around what even qualifies as self-care. There's a lot of excuses that moms make up because motherhood is exhausting and it's just yet another thing that we are told we should do. And so we're going to have a conversation about this and see if we can bring you on over to our side. It's kind of like one of those clubs. It's like once you know, and you can't go back. But until then, it's going to feel like it's yet another chore, another thing that you don't have time or energy to do. But girl, you need to. So Tiffany, please share with us how old your kids are, where you live, and why is this so important to you? And also tell us about your stationery brand.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tiffany Lewis. I am a mom of 3. My kids are 14, 12, and 11. I am based in Maryland with my 3 kids, my husband, and my dog. So we have a very busy household of 6. I'm super excited to be here chatting today about all things self-care. So obviously, as a busy household, that's super important to me, but it's also very much important in my business. So I have a stationery brand that is on a mission to help millennial women crush their goals while prioritizing their mental health. And so just protecting your peace as a multifaceted woman, whether that's mom or entrepreneur or a 9-to-5er, it's super important that we find some type of balance in our lives that allow us to live the life that we've always dreamed while just staying sane as possible.
Yeah, sign me up and everybody else up. You said balance, and I know that's going to piss a lot of people off. So let's kind of like unpack that word. What does balance mean to you?
So I always say I do not believe in balance because nothing is 50-50, right? Like When you think about scales, when you put something on a scale, one always tips lower than the other. So for me, balance is about prioritization and how you categorize the things that are important in your day-to-day and then your overall life. So to me, it's just another word that equates prioritize.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that does seem to be the theme of making it out of motherhood alive and thriving, right? Is truly knowing what are your priorities and making sure your decisions and your actions are aligned with that. Now, with that said, I know oftentimes motherhood can be equated to burnout, right?
Yes.
To feeling drained and exhausted. And it's like, can I make it another day? Yes, I can. And it's just like, when do we get to breathe, right? When do we get to breathe? When do we get to stop and do stuff for ourselves? Because we've got kids that have things that need to happen. We've got work. If you work, you've got the house, you've got your marriage, you've got your friends, you got your family. Like there are so many responsibilities we have that we choose to take on. So, how does self care fit in? First of all, how do you define self care? And
Yeah.
for those of us who are like, go, 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 how can you shift their perspective on how to view self care and why it is more of a necessity rather than, oh, this is like a treat? It's something to indulge in, it's like a once in a while thing.
Yeah, I think this is so important to kind of set the foundation for what self care means. It's kind of like that balance word. Most people think it means one thing, but for me, it's prioritization. And that's the same with self care. So, self care to me is more than just like a treat yourself moment, like you just said. And it's more of a habit and a daily ritual, so to speak, in your life that is like non negotiable time or a non negotiable activity. And so I think when you kind of shift your perspective and you start viewing it that way, as this is this non-negotiable time or non-negotiable activity, then you get into a space where even if you are like a hustle type of mom or you're in a hustle season, because sometimes that's just unavoidable, you always kind of honor that time or activity for yourself. And so that's the first thing, right? Like understanding that it's not a reward for living a busy life. It's more of a habit and something that is non negotiable in order for you to continue to live and pour into your family or whatever it is you have going on. So,
Yeah, I truly think that self care is like a mentality,
yes.
right? It's like, okay, I have these things to do. And in the past, I would have stopped at that. Okay, I just got to make it work, right?
Yep.
But I've realized that self care is more of a mentality in that, okay, that's your first line of thought. Like, oh my gosh, this like Costco sized receipt length of things to do that keeps growing. You cross one thing off and then like five more things appear, right?
Yeah.
But self care is like, okay, I've got that. And how can I show myself compassion in that time while I'm navigating this? How can I simplify things?
Mm-hmm.
What things can go? It's truly back to that word again, prioritization.
Yep.
Like, do I have to do these things?
Yeah.
If it's a yes, can I do it differently in a way that is more suitable for the way things are for me? Like, how can I make my life better? So,
Yeah.
self care is not like, okay, I'm really stressed out. Let me go get my nails done.
Right. Like the goal of creating a daily self care habit or routine or rhythm, because sometimes people hear the word routine and they get this like rigid
Mm-hmm.
idea in their mind. So I like to say you can replace routine with rhythm. And the point of that is so that you don't reach that burnout wall or you don't reach the point of like, I just need a break, I just need a reward, because you're doing this every day or doing something for yourself every day. So,
Yeah, it's sustainable. I think
yeah.
that is really the goal that I'm hearing from you and that I am always talking about. Like, you need to make self care sustainable because
Yes.
if it's something that feels out of reach, like getting a massage every day, like, while that would
Right.
be incredible, like, I would not turn that down.
Yeah.
That is not within reach for most people.
Yes.
And that kind of makes it seem like, oh, I don't deserve self care every day, which is complete bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is about redefining how we define self care so that it does seem attainable. With
Yes.
whether it's like as simple as giving yourself 30 seconds to like just to do some deep breathing, just to
Mm-hmm.
like calm your nervous system down. So I know that you have these self care habits that you stand by. Can you share what they are and how you came up with them and what they've done for you to have you wanting to shout them from the rooftops?
Yeah, so I, just like you said, sustainable, that's super important to me as well. And so there are three things that I must do every day. And the order in which they happen or the time of day that they happen, I'm flexible with that. That's about that rhythm over routine. And one of those things is getting in some physical activity. So whether that's taking a walk, or I started strength training a few years ago. So doing that, just making sure that I'm doing something every day. And it doesn't have to be a 60-minute thing. It literally can be 5 minutes. When I discovered that I needed to create like self-care habits, it was in 2020 during the pandemic. I was teaching. I was home with my three kids. My youngest was in kindergarten, I believe. And I was running a business. So I think it was just one business at the time. So my life was purely chaotic, and I was hitting a wall every day. Like, something has to give, or like I won't survive.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is when I was like, I have to find something for me every day. And I started with 5 minutes. Like, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to take a walk around my neighborhood for 5 minutes. No kids can't come. Sometimes I would bring my phone, sometimes I wouldn't, and I would just use that 5 minutes to disassociate. But it did wonders for my physical health, for one, my mental health. And it was just something that my kids knew, like, hey, this is not negotiable time. We can't go with mommy, we can't interrupt her. And that was just the start of my self care, like healthy habit, right? Eventually, that 5 minutes went to 15, 30, whatever. And then sometimes I could escape for like an hour and just walk and release all the things. And so today, that's like a purely non negotiable. My kids are much older, our lives are very different, but they know if they're home and I'm working out, like, leave me alone. Or if I'm going to go to the gym, like, cool, you can't come. So just establishing that for me did wonders. So that's the first thing that I do every day. Second,
Wait. There's so much to what she just shared, ladies. Okay. She shared that moving her body helps her reset. Okay. There is something about getting our blood flowing that removes stagnancy. So if you're feeling like, ugh, like life is just very meh, moving your body, feeling strong, just giving yourself that moment of solitude is so important. Second thing, she said, I started small.
mm-hmm.
She started with 5 minutes. I started walking back in California, but I was like inconsistent with it, right? But when I moved to Georgia, I started walking every day and I always go to the same park. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do one lap. I set the bar super low. And what happened over time was it became a habit. It was like something that I just do, almost like how I brush my teeth or I'm going to take the kids to school. It's just something part of my day that I do. It's non negotiable, like Tiffany said. And that grew. I eventually started walking 2 laps for an hour. And then when I have the time, I will walk for longer. And so it's all about just starting small because once it's a habit, which is like the hardest part, right, is just creating that consistency,
Yep.
you'll find that you become addicted to having this time to yourself. And then last thing, she shared that she set boundaries with her family. It might be really hard at first, especially if your kids are young and have become accustomed to having you around all of the time. But just like how you set rules in your home around screen time, around when it's time to do homework, when it's time to play, when bedtime is, they will get used to it. They will know that, oh, this is just how it is. And so it might be difficult at first where they're like, come on, like, mommy, I just want a snack, or why can't I go with you? I'm going to miss you. Maybe they might even cry. It'll be okay because in the long run, you'll come back happier. You're also modeling to them that it's good for them to take care of themselves when they're older. And so you kind of have to get over that momentary discomfort and know that on the other side of your consistency, it will be okay.
Yes, very true. The boundaries part was probably the most golden piece in that. My youngest was in kindergarten. It was very hard for her. She has separation anxiety, like, to this day. So it was very difficult for her to, like, not go with me. And it hurt, a little
Yeah,
bit to
of
see her
course.
cry, but I'm like, you have a happy, healthy mommy or no mommy
Yeah,
for
and
life.
she's safe, right? And
Right.
like no matter what, they're going to experience moments in life, whether it's from something that you're doing or not, they're going to experience sadness. And it's
Yes.
like, okay, are you safe? Is this
Yeah.
actually going to harm you? No, you're going to be okay.
Right.
And I'll be back.
Right. And I'll be back. So it's
Yeah.
fine. So yeah, just lean into the discomfort
Mm-hmm.
and do what you need to do to protect your peace. So
Yes.
the other thing that is a more recent activity, I would say probably within the last year or two, is meditation.
Mm.
And I usually start my day with I'm a Peloton user, so I have the app and I just do a 5 or 10 minute meditation, usually in the morning, but sometimes like a midday after I've like taken the kids to school and dealt with clients and work and all the things. And I'm like, I just need a moment of mindfulness. I'll tap in there. And sometimes I do it at night so that I can like fall asleep or whatever. But yeah, just having a moment to have some quiet. And if you're not into like the guided meditation thing, that's totally fine. You can even take like 3 minutes. You can make it an even shorter window where you're literally just kind of sitting in silence and being one like with your thoughts and intentions and dreams and goals even. So that's super important to me as well. And my kids have kind of hopped on board. So like on a Saturday, if they're in my room and like, oh, let me do this meditation, they'll try to sit quietly
That's
for 5 or 10
amazing.
minutes. So yeah. I love that practice. And then the last thing is just having some non negotiable me time.
Mm.
Again, start small. Like if you can't find some time every day to do something that you love, then I would say pick a day of the week that you're like, okay, I'm going to give myself 15 minutes today to read. Like I'm a avid reader. So my me time for me is reading or binging Bravo TV. Just figuring out like what it is that you like. It could be listening to podcasts. I do that a lot now when I'm cooking dinner. I just pop in my AirPods and the kids are like in their rooms or whatever. If they come down, I'm like, hey, I'm listening to a podcast. I'm making dinner. So just, give
Go
me
do
20
something else.
minutes or whatever. Yeah. But just making sure you have that time to just like pour into yourself. And it doesn't have to look like going to get a massage or going to get your nails done,
Mm-mm.
which I do get my nails done like once a month. And that is my uninterrupted me time. But I plan for that. It's not something I'm going to do weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Massages don't happen often. Like I got a gift card for Christmas. I haven't used it yet. I think I will next month. You can have those luxury moments when you account for them, but just figuring out what you can do day to day or week to
Mm-hmm.
week that kind of spark the joy for you.
Absolutely. I love your suggestion of meditation, whether that's for you or not. I think just having that time to yourself to just be with your thoughts and sit with, okay, how am I doing? What is it that I want? What are some challenges that I'm dealing with that maybe I've kind of just like shoved to the side because it hasn't been a convenient time to deal with? When we make space for that, that's when we can come up with ways to help us get through those times. And that is also self care. You giving yourself that moment where you're like, okay, I'm faced with this challenge right now and it's really affecting me. It's affecting my well being. What can I do about this? What's one thing that I can change? Whether it's your perspective, whether it's maybe I need to have a conversation with someone, maybe this person is a lot more toxic than I think, and I shouldn't have them in my life anymore. Or
Yeah.
maybe I should unfollow this person on Instagram because every time I see them on my feed, I don't feel good things about myself,
Yeah.
right? These are all very attainable, quick ways to practice self care. So if you just start paying more attention to how different interactions make you feel throughout the day, whether it's with yourself, with someone else, with your phone, with the TV, whatever, can you choose to make a different choice?
Yeah. And I will say, like, for those of you who meditation, like, it's just that's not an available practice. I actually started off journaling,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just think of, like you just said, think of those questions or moments that didn't sit well with me and write it out. So, in place of meditate, it's just basically checking in with yourself and giving
Yes.
yourself that quiet space for whatever time frame you set to really like get in touch with like how you're feeling. So,
Yeah. So, what has this consistent practice of self care meant for your life now? What's it like compared to before and now?
yeah, I think that it's just allowed me so much like personal growth.
Mm,
You always hear put your mask on first,
yes.
and it makes sense to me now, right? Like, if I am not taking care of myself, right? Like, and I'm not expecting someone to come and save me. Like, if I can't pour into myself, it's almost impossible for me to have something to pour into other people, whether that's,
Mm-hmm.
my husband, my kids, my clients, my job, my friends, all the things. So it's really just allowed me to set a rhythm for my day and for my life. I struggle a lot with like mental health things, but having these practices has helped me, along with therapy, has helped me to, come off of meds and be able to kind of like recognize when I'm feeling triggered. And so just some tremendous growth. And I have strategies that I can use now when I feel like I'm reaching a burnout moment or I'm hitting a wall on something or I can't communicate something the way that I want to. Going outside and taking a walk helps me clear my mind and think of different ways to approach the situation. Journaling helps me do the same. Meditating helps me do the same. And then just like having that me time really just is something that I can look forward to every day, that I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to read a chapter in my book tonight, or I'm going to spend an hour watching whatever show I'm into at the moment. And it just makes me find a little bit of joy in like everything. And even if, we'll wake up and I'm having a crap day, the kids are sick or late or whatever, like teenagers are very fun.
Yes.
So that's a different level of patience as a
Yep.
mom.
Yep.
But yeah, so, no matter how the day starts, I always can say, like, well, at least I know I'm going to read tonight before bed. And so I have that like little silver lining to look forward to later in the day. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just helped so much in my mental health and also just like personal growth.
Absolutely. I mean, having something to look forward to is grossly underestimated.
Yes.
Like grossly underestimated.
Yeah.
You know how like a lot of moms will look forward to bedtime? What
Yes.
if it's more than that? What if instead of doom scrolling because you're like, "Ugh, I just need to like check out." You
Yeah.
do something that actually helps you. What I'm hearing from you is that self-care has become something that's both preventative and proactive. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, I am making sure that I am at a good level on a daily basis, but also when shit hits the fan, I have resources to
Yeah.
pull from to help me get back to who I want to be for myself and for my family. And I
Yeah.
think that is so valuable because a lot of times when shit does hit the fan, we end up being this version of ourselves that we then feel bad about. Like
Hmm.
we don't feel good experiencing it, feeling hopeless, out of control, like life sucks and is so hard. But knowing that you have things that you can reach for and be like, okay, I am feeling really shitty right now.
Hmm.
What can I do to change the mental atmosphere for me? What can I do? Oh, I can go meditate. I can go for a walk. I can call a friend. Just build your own unique list because
Hmm.
you deserve this, right? We're not saying shove your feelings under the rug. We're saying, hey, take care of yourself while you're also sorting your stuff out so that you can make choices that will support you in the long run. Like, don't stay stuck just like, well, had a shitty day, so the rest of my day is shitty. You know,
Hmm.
like my son is still learning. And thankfully, I have learned this so I can like impart this wisdom to him. And it's like, just because you have a shitty moment doesn't mean that you are bound to have a shitty day.
Yes.
And one of the phrases that I have absolutely loved for like years, since like my 20s, is every day might not be good, but there's always something good in every day. And it really is about, what are you paying attention to? Where are you placing your focus? Because wherever we choose to focus, that's what expands. That's what we're going to allow to take up space in our brains. So are we going to choose to focus on that shitty moment that someone didn't hold the door open for us, like, ugh, rude, right?
Right.
Or like, oh my gosh, my toddler just yelled at me. Now my whole day is ruined.
Yeah.
Or are we going to be like, that sucked. Don't want to experience that again.
Right.
And, oh, I got to finish my tea while it was still hot.
Yes.
Or, hey, I get to see a friend today at pickup, or whatever it is. Like, where you choose to focus truly matters and makes such a big difference.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And all of the things that I shared that I do, one, they were built over time. Like
Mm-hmm.
when my kids were toddlers, this did not exist. I was a version of myself I'm not proud of.
Yeah.
And that version lasted for quite some time. And, it was when I started incorporating these habits that I began to see a shift in my tolerance level of
Mm-hmm.
the things that I could deal with as a parent.
And your resilience too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you get to grow it's called window of tolerance for those who are not aware of like how your nervous system works. It's like for those of us who weren't taught how to be more mindful and take care of ourselves, your tolerance is quite small. So like the slightest thing can ruin your entire day and shift you into that person that you don't like to be. But as you learn to take care of yourself and be more mindful with the things that Tiffany is sharing with you and many other things, if these aren't for you, that's okay.
Yeah.
It grows your tolerance. You get to the point where you're like, don't like that.
Yeah.
But the impact that it has on the rest of your day and your overall state of being is not rocked as much. It's like the
Yeah.
difference of like throwing a little stone and like dropping a boulder
Yes.
into your water.
Yes. And because things still occur. Like just
Yes.
last week, my youngest was having a temper tantrum, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I have to get out of here.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm like, yeah,
Today is not the day.
yeah. And I'm like, oh, I didn't have a walk this morning. Like, I didn't move my body today. And my brain was like, get out.
Mm-hmm.
So I got out. I went for a walk. It was, dusk. And I'm like, well, it's fine. I'll just take my risk walking around. But, and I was out for like 30 minutes. And like, I needed that. When I got back home, she had calmed down. I had calmed down, and
Yep.
we just had a peaceful rest of the night. But I do know a few years ago, like she would have been off the handle. I would have been off the handle and just would have been
A
in
hot
a
mess.
downward spiral. Yeah. And it's all about just like building your toolkit, right? So
Yes.
finding what works for you. A few years ago, I used to do yoga. I don't practice that anymore. That doesn't work for me. So I don't do it. And I walk instead. Like I said, finding what works for you and building your toolkit for that. Like you have an emergency first aid kit, right? For when your kids get hurt. It's a similar thing. Thinking about like what's my first aid response kit that I can kind of build for myself, and what resources can I put in there to help me on my self-care journey. Because it is a
Yeah.
journey. Like,
It is. And it evolves, right? Because the
Mhm.
things we deal with change and then we change. And so that means the things that we need to support ourselves change as well.
Yeah.
So talk to me about your stationery, because I know you created all of this to support millennial women,
Yes.
busy women, whether you're
Yes.
a mom, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're both like
Yes.
us.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. So the stationery company was born out of probably my lowest moment
Mm-hmm.
after my last child. I had really bad postpartum depression and anxiety, and I had been used to planning and all the things, and like I had no control over my life during that time. And so when I started going to therapy and taking meds, I was like, I'm aware that I need something to help me organize my life. And I honestly just couldn't find like the right planner or the right type of stationery to help me do that. And so I was like, I should probably create my own. And it took years. My youngest was born in 2013. And this company didn't launch until 2022.
But it happened.
Yeah, it happened. And I will say that the notion to start this business came in 2019 at a photo shoot for my first business. And the wheels start rolling, and I'm like, okay, I have to actually do this. All of our stationery is literally like for everyday use. So there are planners that are undated. I know that dated planners sometimes can cause a little bit of anxiety because you're like, oh my gosh,
And
I
guilt.
missed a week, I missed a month. Yeah, like
I know that's
like
me.
I spent $40 on this thing, and
yes,
6 months are incomplete. And so it's undated. You can stop and start, whenever. It's to just fit your season of life. Sometimes I have gone through spurts where I'm like super organized and super planner mode. And sometimes I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. And then we have sticky notes. I'm a sticky note queen. Like every idea, everything I need to do, I'm going to write on there. Notebooks for journaling, taking notes. And then we have some notepads if you're not a planner girly, but you still need to write down your weekly to-dos or your weekly list or your brain dump or whatever. Like the notepads are available for that. So it's like write it down for the week, tear it off, forget about it. So
love it. Especially with us. Well, I'll speak for myself. I grew up in the 90s, right? Where it's like in elementary school, we're passing around notebooks with our friends.
Lisa Frank.
Yes, Lisa Frank,
favorite.
All of the things. I also really loved Sanrio. So we had all of that, right?
Same.
I'm so excited that my daughter likes Hello Kitty. So I'm like reliving my childhood through her.
Same.
But it sounds like what you've created is truly for even neurodivergent people. Like it sounds ADHD friendly because when you said your planner is undated, girl, like I can't tell you how many planners I have in the graveyard where it's like, maybe every other month is filled out.
Right.
And then I feel bad. I'm like, oh, I just wasted money because I skipped a month because life got busy and I just got out of my routine of filling it out. So thankfully, the last one I bought, I chose to have it undated because I was like, I'm not doing that to myself anymore. That is completely optional guilt.
Yes, very much.
Yeah. Okay. Can you share with us how they can take a look at it and also connect with you?
Yeah, so the website is taylorandjessie.com. So a lot of people are like, where'd that come from? So Taylor, just for reference, is my youngest daughter's middle name. And Jessie is my maternal grandmother who passed 6 months after my youngest daughter was born. And I have this belief that it's like a life for a life. And so I wanted to honor them both with this business. But yeah, taylorandjessie.com, and on Instagram, taylorandjessie.co. I'm always there, so feel free to send me a DM, give me a follow, and connect with me there.
Love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I think that the more we can uplift women to start owning their own well-being and truly speaking up for it, the better. So I appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story and sharing your tips. Ladies, please walk away from this episode trying just one thing that makes your day better. Okay, just even if it's like, I'm going to do this for 30 seconds. Can you commit to loving yourself and treating yourself as well as you treat the people that you love? Can you just do that for us, please? Because that would make us so happy. If you know someone that could benefit from listening to this episode, please share it with them. If you love this show, I would love it if you could go over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review, or even on Spotify, wherever you listen. I would so appreciate that. And go give Tiffany a follow. Go check out her stationery. Let her know you found her from the show. And that's all we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that you do something with this episode to make your life better, because you deserve that. And I'll catch you back here on the next episode. Bye. That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, please send me a message over on Instagram at Michelle Perta Coaching to let me know what you loved most about it. Hearing from my listeners is my absolute favorite. And if you've been loving this podcast, please leave a rating and review. This will help people like you find the show and get the help they need. Catch you here on the next episode. Bye.